1983 Topps Baseball Cards, 25 Most Valuable, plus bonus listings. Take a poll of 792 veteran collectors, asking them to name the best set of the 1980s, and I'll lay dollars to gum stains that 1983 Topps Baseball Cards will be a strong contender for the top spot. Sure, you'll have plenty of people who can't resist the nostalgia of 1987 wood grain borders or the supposed game changing slickness of 1989 Upper Deck. But you can rest assured that 1983 Topps will be well represented. And why not? With a clean, crisp, classic design, huge star power, interesting subsets, and yes, a heavyweight class of rookie cards, 1983 Topps offers something for everyone. And that goes for high rollers too, those collectors/investors who want to sink their hobby cash into some blue chip cards. Because although you can't claim that 1983 Topps baseball is limited in any sort of way, it also predates the explosive and soul sucking junk wax era by a bit. And these cards have held their own in the modern market. In fact, the top pasteboards in this set are downright hobby classics, with plenty of money changing hands in the name of pursuing them, even here in the 2020s. And that's why we're here today, to take a look at the very best of the best the set has to offer, with an eye toward both nostalgia and card value. What follows then are the most valuable 1983 Topps baseball cards by measure of actual selling prices for copies in PSA 9 condition, the most common grade handed out for the set by the hobby giant. And if you keep watching past number 1, you might find some bonus listings, plus the best of the best among the 1983 Topps traded baseball cards. Ready for the show? Great, let's play ball. Number 25, 1983 Topps Ozzie Smith, number 540. Ozzie Smith had a pretty decent first year in St. Louis after the December 1981 challenge trade of shortstops that sent Gary Templeton to the Padres in exchange for the light-hitting wizard. Not only did he win his third Gold Glove, he also notched his first of 15 All-Star appearances. And, oh yeah, the Cards ended the year as world champions. The next season, collectors delighted in this sterling first Ozzie Cardinals card if you set aside his 1982 Topps traded issue for a moment. Value $15 to $20. Number 24. 1983 Topps Carl Yastrzemski, number 550. Yastrzemski entered the 1983 season with more than 3,000 hits, 440 home runs, an MVP award, a Triple Crown, and 43 years of living under his belt, and nothing at all left to prove. So it was little surprise when he announced his retirement, but it also gave this final Topps card of his a bit more hobby oomph. It's still a classic today. Value $15 to $25. Number 23. 1983 Topps Reggie Jackson, number 500. Guess who led the majors in home runs in 1982? Yeah, it was 36-year-old Reggie Jackson, who christened his Angels career by smashing 39 long balls to tie Milwaukee's Gorman Thomas, while also driving in 101 runs. All of that was good enough to land Reggie some MVP consideration. He finished sixth in voting, and one of the greatest cards of 1983, if not of all time. Value $15 to $25. Number 22. 1983 Topps Andre Dawson, number 680. You couldn't have a conversation about the best player in baseball during the 1980s without focusing on Andre Dawson, the Expos right fielder who could do it all: hit, run, crush, field, throw. And in 1983, we got to witness the Hawk in peak form as he hit .299 with 32 home runs, 113 RBI, 104 runs scored, 25 stolen bases, and finished second to Dale Murphy in the National League MVP voting. His crisp, vibrant Topps card was a favorite right out of the pack that year, and it only became more popular as Dawson piled up the stats. Value $20 to $25. Number 21. 1983 Topps Frank Viola rookie card, number 586. Viola's rookie showing of 4-10 with a 5.21 ERA did little to make his 1983 Topps rookie card a hot item among kids or collectors. Ditto for his follow-up of 7-15, 5.49. But when Sweet Music fired up his orchestra to the tune of 18-12, 3.21 in 1984, we all sat up and listened. And by the time he nabbed the 1988 American League Cy Young Award, this card was one of the stoutest of all 1983 Topps pasteboards. Value $20 to $25. Number 20. 1983 Topps Robin Yount, number 350. Like Dale Murphy, Robin Yount used 1982 as a platform season to announce to the world outside of his small market just how good he was. That summer, the Milwaukee shortstop hit .331 with 29 home runs, 114 RBI, 46 doubles, and 129 runs scored. Heck, he even swiped 14 bases. And, oh yeah, he led the Brewers to a division title and American League pennant before they finally bowed out in a thrilling 7-game World Series against the Cardinals. It all spelled MVP and a classic 1983 Topps card for Yount. Value $20 to $25. Number 19. 1983 Topps Gary Carter, number 370. By 1983, Carter had pretty much taken over the title of best catcher in baseball from Johnny Bench, and he had a litany of all-star appearances to prove it. It was more of the same in 1983, along with this dandy of a baseball card that became ever more popular when the kid expanded his fan base by landing with the Mets before the 1985 season. Value $20 to $25. Number 18. 1983 Topps Rickey Henderson Record Breaker, number 2. Everyone knew Henderson could blaze the base paths entering the 1982 season, courtesy of his 100 steals in 1980 and a league-leading 56 in the strike-torn 1981. But then Rickey went out and did the impossible, breaking Lou Brock's single-season record by swiping an amazing 130 bags in 1982. Of course, that was all just the beginning of the huge milestones for the Man of Steel, and this 1983 Topps record breaker has developed an aura of its own over the decades since. Value $20 to $25. Number 17. 1983 Topps Gary Gaetti Rookie Card number 431. Gaetti's 25 home runs as a rookie in 1982 might have made big waves in the game and the hobby had he toiled for a team other than the small market Twins team with a putrid record. And likewise, his 1983 Topps rookie card might have been a barn burner right out of the pack. As things turned out, though, the Minnesota's third baseman just kept slugging, and by the time the Twins won the World Series in 1987, the rat in his cards were starting to get their due. Today, his rookie card is a slow burn favorite that has little trouble keeping up with the market. Value $20 to $25. Number 16. 1983 Topps Dennis Eckersley, number 270. After a down year by his standards in 1980 and another so-so performance during the interrupted 1981 season, Eckersley bounced back in 1982, looked modest in black and white, 13 and 13, 3.73 ERA. But that was actually good for a 4.5 WAR, making X 224.1 solid innings a key reason the Red Sox hung around the periphery of contention most of the season. Of course, it would all sort of bottom out for the former ace over the next few years before he found a new lease on baseball life as a reliever with the Oakland A's later in the decade, a move that set him on a Hall of Fame trajectory, and one that eventually elevated all of his cards, including this one, to hobby superstar status. Value $20 to $30. Number 15. 1983 Topps Rod Carew number 200. As Carew approached the 1983 season, his career batting average sat at a sterling .331, but at age 37, it had been 5 seasons since he topped that mark. Never you mind about Father Time and the Angels bat magician, though, because Carew uncorked a .339 mark in 1983 that would stand as his 6th highest mark ever, and point him straight towards 3,000 hits and Cooperstown. This card went along for the ride during that long ago summer and still looks great all these years later. Value $20 to $30. Number 14. 1983 Topps Tom Seaver, number 580. At age 37, Seaver posted one of his worst campaigns ever in 1982, going 5 and 13 with an unsightly 5.50 ERA for the similarly unsightly Cincinnati Reds team. None of that much mattered to the baseball world, though, and particularly not to New York Mets fans, after the Reds flipped the future Hall of Famer back to his original team in December in exchange for Charlie Puleo and Lloyd McClendon, and yes, of course, Jason Felice. This last Reds card of Tom Terrific was painful for Reds and Mets faithful alike that summer of 1983, but it's a classic today, marking the end of one era and beginning a revival of another. Value $20 to $30. Number 13. 1983 Topps Dale Murphy, number 760. After slatting back in the power department during the strike in 1981, following a 33-homer breakout in 1980, Murphy was poised and ready for a full season of glory in 1982. And boy, what a season it was. Murphy won the National League MVP award on the back of 36 home runs, 109 RBI, and 23 steals, leading the Braves to their second division title in the process. Their first was in 1969. Murphy was even better in 1983, making this Topps card an instant classic that summer. Value $25 to $30. Number 12. 1983 Topps George Brett, number 600. After hitting .390 to win the American League batting title and MVP, and leading the Royals to the World Series in 1980, Brett took a step backwards to mere superstar status in 1981 and 1982. He was pretty popular with collectors all throughout those years, though, and the infamous pine tar incident in the summer of 1983 marked his explosive return to the national consciousness. It was an all-out sprint to the Hall of Fame from that point forward, including a stop in the 1985 World Series to help Kansas City win their first title. Value $25 to $35. Number 11. 1983 Topps Johnny Bench, number 600. The Reds were a weathered stinker of a team in 1982, but at least they still had Johnny Bench and a few other big names from the 70s to keep fans interested. And then, in the midst of another toilet circling season in 1983, Bench announced his retirement and sealed this card's fate as his last base Topps issue. It's still a hobby classic today. Value $30 to $35. Number 10. 1983 Topps Pete Rose, number 100. Rose was a longtime collector favorite entering the 1983 season, and his role in helping the Whiz Kid Phillies to another World Series appearance that fall did nothing to boost his popularity. And since Charlie Hustle left Philly to sign a free agent deal with the Montreal Expos in 1984, this Topps card represented the end of his storied run with the teams he helped to their first title in 1980. Sure, he would appear with the Phillies on the 1984 cards, but he was long gone by then. Value $30 to $40. Number 9. 1983 Topps Mike Schmidt, number 300. Schmidt saw his string of consecutive MVP awards sapped by Dale Murphy in 1982, but the Philly slugger was still one of the best players in the game entering the 1983 season. He'd drive home that point by leading the majors with 40 home runs that summer, and by leading the Phillies to a National League pennant, their second in 4 years and last until 1993. Today, Schmidt stands as one, if not the greatest third baseman of all time and an enduring collector favorite. Value $30 to $40. Number 8. 1983 Topps Pete Rose All-Star, number 397. In 1982, Rose made his 10th consecutive All-Star appearance, then followed that up by helping lead the Phillies to a somewhat unexpected National League pennant in 1983. As it turned out, that would be Rose's last All-Star appearance. Until that is, he got the nod during his run on Ty Cobb's all-time hits record in 1985. It's fitting, then, that this last All-Star card of Charlie Hustle has become something of a hobby classic. Value $30 to $40. Number 7. 1983 Topps Willie McGee Rookie Card, number 49. McGee made his Major League debut in May of 1982 and then finished the season, the postseason, as the starting center fielder for the world champions. It would be hard to top that sort of beginning, but McGee pulled it off, helping the Cards to 2 more World Series through 1987, winning the National League batting title and MVP award in 1985. He also managed to cop the National League batting crown in 1990, despite a late August trade that sent him to the A's. Along the way, collectors took a shine to McGee's rookie card, and it still maintains some hobby swagger today. Value $30 to $50. Number 6. 1983 Topps Nolan Ryan, number 360. As 1983 dawned, Nolan Ryan was seen in most circles as a flamethrower more than a bona fide ace, and he really wasn't all that popular in the hobby. By the end of the season, he had surpassed Walter Johnson's all-time strikeout record, but sat behind Steve Carlton on the leaderboard as Lefty took down Big Train. But while Carlton was rounding the corner of his career, the Ryan Express was just getting fired up, and Ryan would spend the next 10 seasons putting the strikeout record out of reach, tossing no-hitters, and generally turning himself into a living and hobby legend. Value $45 to $50. Number 5. 1983 Topps Rickey Henderson, number 180. Henderson was fresh off setting the single-season stolen base record of 130 when this beauty started popping out of packs, but he still had plenty of highlights in front of him. In fact, Rickey was just getting warmed up on his career that would span 25 seasons and produce 3,055 hits and an all-time record for runs scored at 2,295 and steals at 1,406. Today, Henderson's cards are always among the most popular in whichever set they appear, and 1983 Topps is no exception. Value $45 to $55. Number 4. 1983 Topps Cal Ripken Jr. number 163. Ripken was already a star by the time this card debuted, having won the 1982 American League Rookie of the Year award. By the end of 1983, he was a bona fide superstar, copying American League MVP honors en route to leading the Orioles to their last, so far, World Series championship. Cal's legend only grew from there, of course, and the popularity of his 1983 Topps card pretty much kept pace. Value $50 to $75. Number 3. 1983 Topps Ryne Sandberg, rookie card, number 83. After years of mediocrity and much worse, the Chicago Cubs shook up the baseball world in the summer of 1984, battling with the upstart New York Mets for supremacy in the National League East. In the end, the Cubbies prevailed thanks to a Cy Young performance from Rick Sutcliffe, acquired mid-season from the Indians, and the breakout of their young second baseman Ryne Sandberg. Rhino brought a balanced game to the north side that featured a blend of speed, power, and defense that not only helped the team to the playoffs, but also garnered the MVP trophy for Sandberg. His amazing and unexpected performance sent collectors scrambling to snatch his 1983 rookie cards from obscurity, and they've been hobby favorites ever since. Value $85 to $100. Number 2. 1983 Topps Wade Boggs rookie card, number 498. Boggs was the first of the big three among the crop of 1983 rookie legends to make his name, breaking out to an amazing .361 batting average and his first American League hitting crown in 1983. A slide back to just .325 in 1984 had some fans and collectors weary of his superstar status, but a string of 4 more titles from 1985 through 1988 put all that noise to rest. Today, Boggs' 1983 Topps rookie card is one of the most famous and valuable 1980s cards of them all, and Boggs, of course, is a Hall of Famer. Value $115 to $150. Number 1. 1983 Topps Tony Gwynn rookie card, number 482. It took a while for Tony Gwynn to register with fans early in the 1984 season, what with the Tigers streaking to a historic start and the Mets and Cubs actually winning some games. An unknown Padres hitter batting .434 in the first month of the season was neat and all, but it sort of got lost in all the noise of it still early. By the time San Diego captured the National League West crown in September, though, everyone knew who their star right fielder was. He was the breakout superstar who would finish at .351 to lead the majors and win the first of his record 8 National League batting titles. And by then, collectors had rummaged through our stacks of 1983 commons to elevate Gwynn's rookie card to hobby royalty, a perch that it's never abdicated. Value $200 to $225. Honorable mention. So those are the heavy hitters among the 1983 Topps baseball cards, but they're not the whole story, not even close. In fact, this set is just so jam-packed with goodies that it's pretty much impossible to do justice to them all in just a simple video. But we can at least pull out a few more representative cards, ones that serve as exemplars for others, and that we won't mention here at all, but take the same general form. Some of these honorable mentions even pop up into the ranks of the bestsellers from time to time. Number 5. 1983 Topps Nolan Ryan Super Veteran, number 361. Even though this super veteran card rightly shows that Ryan had been in the majors for nearly 15 years, the truth in that moment was that he was still something of an enigma in 1983. Or at least he wasn't highly regarded as a true ace. No, Nolan Ryan was a fireballer, not one of the best pitchers in the game. Over the next 10 years, of course, Ryan would burn through any lingering doubts about his legend, thanks to a litany of no-hitters, strikeouts, records, and headlock punches that no mere mortal could match. Value $20 to $25. Number 4. 1983 Topps Mike Schmidt Super Veteran, number 301. Schmidt was undoubtedly a super veteran in 1983, having already built a near Hall of Fame resume, but also still prime enough that he was a threat to win an MVP award any given season. Yeah, Schmitty was in the upper tier of popularity among super veterans, and he stands as a fitting exemplar for the landmark subset even today. Value $20 to $25. Number 3. 1983 Topps Gaylord Perry, number 463. In his quest to reach 300 wins, Gaylord Perry latched on with the lowly Seattle Mariners for his age 43 season in 1982. It all panned out for the Vaseline Meister as he won 10 games in 1982, then decided to hang around for one more season. As it turned out, that gave Gaylord the chance to pass Walter Johnson's all-time strikeouts list, same as Nolan Ryan and Steve Carlton did. And while Perry's last solo-based Topps card may not be worth a fortune, it's still a great cardboard history marker that has a classic feel today. Value $20 to $25. Number 2. 1983 Topps Rickey Henderson and Tim Raines, number 704. Quick. Who were the greatest base runners and especially the greatest leadoff hitters of the last 50 years? Yeah, it's Rickey Henderson and Tim Raines. And thanks to the prowess on the base paths, Raines and Henderson appear on a string of these stolen base leader cards over the years. As it turns out, each and every one is a double shot of Hall of Fame splendor. Value $25 to $30. Number 1. 1983 Topps Rickey Henderson All-Star, number 391. If there was one player in the history of the game that looks perfectly at home on All-Star cards, maybe even more so than any other type of card, it's Rickey Henderson, the ultimate hot dog. Rickey could more than back up all that bluster, though, which makes the big star plastered on this classic card look just right. Value $25 to $30. Wait, it's 1983 Topps Traded. By the fall of 1983, the hobby was starting to boom, and we all wanted more baseball cards. And we also had become accustomed to the annual postseason release of the 132 card Topps Traded set. We were ready. As it turned out, our fever was more than justified, as evidenced all these years later by the most valuable 1983 Topps Traded baseball cards. Note, we're using PSA 10 prices here, since the traded cards tend to show up in better graded condition than the base cards. Number 6. 1983 Topps Traded Joe Morgan, number 77T. After a one-year return to the Astros in 1980, following his wildly successful run with the Big Red Machine in the 1970s, Joe Morgan spent 2 decent to good seasons with the San Francisco Giants. In December of 1982, though, the Giants traded Little Joe to Philadelphia, where he became a key member of the Whiz Kids team that won the national pennant. Widely considered to be the greatest second baseman of all time, Morgan remains a hobby favorite, and this is the first of just a few cards to feature him as a member of the Phillies. Value $35 to $45. Number 5. 1983 Topps Julio Franco Rookie Card, number 34T. For a while there, it looked like Franco might play forever, and he actually did suit up in the majors until he was 49 years old. Along the way, he accumulated almost 2,600 hits, nearly 300 stolen bases, more than 1,200 runs scored, and nearly as many RBI. His first Topps card, this one, doesn't get a ton of notice, but it's a piece of hobby and baseball history in its own right. Value $45 to $50. Number 4. 1983 Topps Traded Keith Hernandez, number 43T. In June of 1983, the Cardinals shocked their fans and the baseball world in general by trading franchise staple Keith Hernandez to the New York Mets in exchange for Neil Allen and Rick Ownby. As it turned out, that was one of the first big moves that started the Mets down the road to their 1986 championship, as Hernandez just kept clicking along at superstar levels in his new setting. Not surprisingly, diving into the biggest media market in the sport only served to expand the influence of the 1979 National League co-MVP. The other was Willie Stargell, helping to make his 1983 Topps Traded card one of the most popular hunks of the year-end box set. Today, this card still stands as a hobby classic, making a milestone in the game's history. Value $50 to $55. Number 3. 1983 Topps Traded Tony Phillips Rookie Card, number 87T. Phillips put together one of the quietest 2,000-hit careers in baseball history, and his cards certainly never lit up the market. But the man was maybe the greatest utility man of all time, starting more than 200 games at 4 different positions and posting more than 50 career wins above replacement or WAR. Given all that, Phillips' 1983 Topps Traded Rookie Card may just be an underrated, undervalued card in today's booming market. Value $65 to $75. Number 2. 1983 Topps Traded Tom Seaver, number 101T. Seaver put together a forgettable 1982 campaign for the Reds, but his return to the Mets in 1983 seemed to re-energize the Mound great, and collectors ate up the chance to see Tom terrific in his familiar New York Mets uniform at least one more time, and wrapped all that in a classic 1983 Topps design to boot. Value $90 to $100. Number 1. 1983 Topps Traded Darryl Strawberry Rookie Card, number 108T. Has there ever been a more anticipated baseball card than the 1983 Topps traded Darryl Strawberry rookie? The only challenger that springs immediately to mind are the traded and updated cards of Straw's unworldly teammate, Dwight Gooden, the next year. In 1983, though, Strawberry lit up the baseball world with a package of power, speed, and grace that made us all excited for the future. And unlike the American League Rookie of the Year, Ron Kettle, the Mets' young star had no cards in the base issues that summer, setting up Topps Traded as a stone cold hobby classic and firmly establishing the year end issue as an industry staple. Value $350 to $400. WaxPackGods.com